Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Magical Monday Musing for the week of February 23rd, 2015. I hope you're all doing well today as we're nearing the end of the month of February, sort of that in-between month as we transition out of the hard, cold winter and moving into the promise of spring very soon with March. It always feels like a corner turned when March starts to creep into the picture. And it's also, I remember giving birth to my son 17 years ago. This, let's see, is it this week? Yeah, this week. So happy birthday, Nico. And remembering the feeling of, that sense of starting the new journey and being done with that long process, and then having that wonderful new beginning. So the last couple of weeks, last week and moving forward in this week, we're definitely going to be continuing to deal with promise and newness. There's a lot of new beginnings apparently for us, or new perspectives about things going on, which can create like a new beginning. So we will continue on that journey with who we had last week, which was Eel, and we were dealing with emotions. Very much we're working with the Knights of the Vessels and the Cups. And always love hearing your feedback about how the cards work through your lives and how they show up for you or stimulate or challenge you. So I'm always so appreciative when you communicate either via the email that you receive or through Facebook. And let me know how the cards worked for you. And as you know, I usually tell you how they're working for me. So they've been very alive as usual and bringing lots of insights and inner movement. And also, of course, with the inner movement comes opportunity to externally show up differently, which is what it's all about. And we got some encouragement on that last week with Eel and learning to, move when we're dealing with the sticks in the mud or the challenges that might come our way, either anticipated or unexpected, and staying aware of how do we want to be in the engagement of stuff that cycles back over time and revisits us. So we had an opportunity to do some maybe remedial work in that way, but it all then becomes sort of equal, doesn't it? Because it's all an opportunity. But some of them are more emotionally charged than others, and for sure, working with the vessels in that way is always about emotions. So this week, I've picked some cards for us, and we're dealing with some definite power cards this week and some more new beginnings. So we have let's see, let me get myself straight here. We've got one of my favorite cards actually this week. I really love when we pick this card. The Ace of Bows, the Spark of Life from the Wildwood Tarot. And we have the Ace of Wands from the Rider-Waite Tarot. And we'll, of course, be working with the Spiritual Tarot. And as is now our new format, you will be getting just the intuitive piece via video, and you will be getting, in writing the way that I did last year, the card meanings, so that you'll have that cross-reference. But I know that I really want to focus on, in the video, giving you direct inspiration from the archetypes, from the energy of the cards, and from our spirit guides who are working with us. So that is the way that I hope to continue forward, and I think that so far we're finding that works pretty well. So without further ado, I invite you to close your eyes and we'll begin our meditation, set our intentions, and call in the energies for this week. So bringing yourself into a comfortable position, whether that might be reclining or seated, whatever will help you to open to your own inner wisdom. And I invite you to take 3 deep breaths in and out at your own pace. Settling into your body and into your space. Settling into the anticipation of our work together today and into the inspiration that we are setting ourselves up for this entire week. letting each breath draw you more inward into that heart space where your true guidance and wisdom resides. Letting yourself relax more deeply into this place of comfort and this place of familiarity, this place that it really is where your truth is, where your wisdom base is, that place that you can lean into and lean on, and that you can learn to trust what comes from this place. And so with every breath that you take, let yourself become more consciously aware of that inner space, of that inner peace, and of that place where when a thought comes to you, it's not just one of strictly the intellect, but it's one that is infused with spiritual knowing and awareness. And so as you begin to settle into that heart center, the place of your greater truth, allow yourself now to become aware of the grounded presence of Mother Earth, and allow yourself now to, along with me, invoke in the 4 directions and elements, calling on ancestors, wise ones, loved ones in spirit that can contribute in a positive way. Calling on the light realms, the angelic, the master realms, star and sky beings, to hold sacred space with us today as we do this work. And of course, as we've said, calling in our own higher and deeper wisdom to guide the messages that will come forward. So from this place of peace now and clarity, let yourself set some intentions for this week about how you would like to live and how you'd like to move through your days. Don't be afraid to dream and to open to bigger possibilities for yourself, to give yourself permission to think about leaping tall buildings in a single bound. To really stretching and fluffing up those wings if you feel like this is a week for that. Or maybe it's a week for drawing in and collecting those last morsels of this winter hibernation energy. Maybe there's a little dreaming and visioning that has yet to be done before you really start to look for the seeds of the new beginnings blossom this spring. Just weigh in on what you feel is reasonable and what you feel in your heart. And with that, I invite you to open your eyes, come back to this moment as we begin to explore the readings and the cards this week for ourselves. So this week we are dealing with Ace Energy, and Ace Energy certainly represents beginnings, the beginning of each suit with the ace. And the Ace of Bows, the spark of life. What I love about this card is it's extremely potent in terms of the new beginning, the initiation, the working with the forces of the universe, and just having really strong and dedicated intention to what it is that you're working with this week. And it could be that it's not just something that happens this week, but it's something that is being asked for you to place that kind of very strong focus and kind of laser beam-like energy towards this week. So know that this is going to be a week of having a powerhouse of energy working behind you. In the spiritual tarot, the Ace of Wands, the key phrase is the power of budding inspiration. So you're dealing with, again, new phases initiation. We're dealing with, when you think about something that's brand new, you know, there's a particular energy that the baby, the infancy of something, the gestation, and that can also oftentimes feel so good, you know. Something new just feels really good and refreshing and full of wonder. And so this week we can explore those energies, but with these also, there's a lot of fertility that can come with them too. So that's another thing that's really exciting about new beginnings and new energies, is that sense of fertility. One of the things the spiritual tarot says is, my divine gift is the ability to combine conscious intention, understanding, and emotions so that you can develop a spiritual way of life. So I feel that for some of us this week, there is going to be the opportunity to really shift into another gear in terms of orienting yourself from the inside out. And there are those of you that I know that listen to the Magical Monday Musings every week that are really dedicated to deepening just that, being able to work from this place of spiritual core is what drives the whole engine. And the spiritual core, and coming from that place, as opposed to working strictly with rational or logical self. And so there are those of you that are learning to orchestrate your life from that place. So instead of just working from a strictly, well, this is what I think I should do, you're bringing it into a place and using your counsel, using the information and guidance of your spirit helpers, whatever you want to call them, your spirit team, those that love you in spirit, just the whole spiritual guidance system that we all have. So more and more of you that are watching are really working more in that way from a moment-to-moment basis. And so it's like this reorientation. And you have the opportunity this week to solidify that. And so there's this amalgamation process that can happen this week of bringing together forces of yourself and universal forces as you create this fertile new birthing within you. So for some of you, I feel like it is there. Some of you in particular that I'm tuning into in my romper room style, there are those of you that are going to have a lot of new, not just one, but there's going to be a number of new births for you. And I'm looking at, in particular aspect here, someone who is going to be having a number of creative projects that are going to be really kind of high level and exciting, but are going to, you know, keep you busy. So some of you are going to have things come from the universe delivering opportunities for you that the seeds could be planted this week, like the beginning stages, or maybe an initial conversation, or, you know, someone will be saying, oh, I've heard about you on the phone and I was referred to you, or things that are going to initiate this week, but that they'll have more opportunities or more conversations or more work that as a result of that is going to carry you forward in time as we move into the spring. So for some of you, there's going to be some exciting collaborative opportunities to work with, maybe in some levels that are such that you might have just dreamed about, or that you'd be surprised, like, wow, I can't believe this came to me. This is really incredible. And for some of you, I feel like in that situation, it's going to be like, wow, am I up to the task of this? Or is this really the best timing? But, you know, the thing is that it may feel like a little overwhelming when it first comes to you, like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? Or how am I going to fit this in? Or what do I have to, you know, renegotiate in my life to make this happen? Don't worry about that. You just say yes, and know that it's come to you in this timing for you with the energy of the aces working for you, to lay down, you know, the first level of that, to lay that down, and to know that your life will shift and accommodate, and that you will be making choices. For some of you, it's going to mean almost like putting on blinders, because you're going to need to get, you know, really hyper-focused on being able to give what you need to that in order to become a real thing. And in order for it to be up to your standards, I want to say, so that you're going to really feel a sense of gratification and pride, and that your craftsmanship or your signature, your personality, the standard that you want to hold to is going to be met. So I would encourage you not to fret if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, this feels too big, because some of you are going to be getting some wonderful big shifts and changes as a result of the initiation of these cards, the Ace of Wands and the Spark of Life, the Ace of Bows this week. So some of you, it might come as a surprise. Others, I almost feel like some of you have kind of like been getting prepared like through dream state and through meditations or on the subconscious level. So it's not going to feel like it's totally brand new or like it came out of nowhere. It's going to have almost, for some of you, it's going to feel a little bit like a deja vu. Like, wow, this feels familiar to me. Although I know I haven't talked to anybody about it, in the 3D world. But for some of you, you're getting prepared by your spiritual team for some advancements that are coming through for you. And that's, for some of you, this has been going on for some time. So I just have this sense of pleasure with it for you. Like I have a sense of joy for those of you that I'm tuning into that are going to have this happen. About how cool is that? Promise, new possibilities, sinking your teeth into some new things and getting to roll up your creative sleeves. And now this could be not just a creative thing. I mean, it could be like a project around the house, or it could be meeting somebody new that just really jazzes you, and that you're going to have like a new level of friendship. So all of those things require creativity and require, us being our greatest selves to do that work authentically. And so for some of you, I'm tuning into, for some of you, there's going to be something around writing too, about laying down some new thoughts, about, like, I'm seeing almost like lists or things that you're going to start doing some channeling. Some of you are going to start doing some channeling this week, that your guides, through the benefit of working with the musings, you're developing yourself to a point where they can come in and work more with you. So there's some of you that are going to be getting some divine inspiration this week to write things down about sometimes what I call coming attractions. This happens to me. I've got reams and reams and files of things that they give me. It's kind of like a download, and I know that I need to write it down. And some of those things, believe it or not, are years old, and some of them, like actually doing these videos, those things have been written down, and I've been told to do those for years. But sometimes there's that birthing process that it just, when it's time, you know it, and you just do it. So but some of you are going to get some downloads this week too. I'm being told to mention a resource to you, which is a book that's an oldie but goodie, one of the classic channeling instruction books. It's called Opening to Channel by Sanaya Roman. Now, whoever among you needs to know about this book, it is a book that teaches you very simply how to do just what I was speaking about, which is working with a higher level guide, or you could work, with a teacher from spirit that is working with you. Because some of you have been asking faithfully to have stronger connections with your guides. And I'm being told to tell you that this is one book that you will want to look at. So it's called Opening to Channel by Sanaya Roman. And it's one I used a long time ago. And I think it was written back in the 80s, but it is still as appropriate today as it was then. It's kind of universal wisdom and knowledge. So for those of you that are wanting to open that channel more clearly, you want to check that out. And you know who you are, as every week. You guys know who I'm talking to when I give certain messages. So let's see what else. Okay, another thing that comes through really strongly is, and this is no matter where you live, there is a call going out to aware people like you to get connected with the earth in terms of your food sources more. So I'm seeing a calling for some of you to get more connected, either through farmers markets, growing your own food, eating more vegetables and fruits, and foods of the earth is what I'm being told to tell you. So some of you need some more balance in your diet, and you need more minerals, more of the macro and micronutrients. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of going with what they tell me here. So there are some of you that that really need to simplify, to take more time, investing in good food for yourself and eating more consciously. I am seeing that some of you have been like running on empty, or have been not so good. Maybe relying on stimulants or sugar, and we all do that from time to time. There's when schedules really, or we don't plan far enough ahead, because we all know how good we feel when our body is feeling nourished. So some of you are getting that message, and that kind of to redirect back into really paying attention to nourishment and making sure that you're feeling well fed and nourished. So that plays into having the energy to do these things that Spirit is inspiring you to do. So as we're moving into the change of seasons, we still have another month before spring equinox, which I think of as the real shifting point, but we are building up to it. And for some of you, I am going to say a gentle cleanse. Like, some people tend to think radical no food, and there's a lot of different cleanses out there, but what I mean a cleanse with food. So you're gently cleansing. Some of you, I think, are depending on what you practice, some of you may be practicing the Lenten season, and that is definitely a time of like, I know my husband always gives up sweets, and so some of you may be feeling a transition in how you want to eat, and foods that just don't appeal to you anymore, whereas there may be other foods that you really have an interest in exploring. I feel like Ayurveda, for some of you, it may come up on your radar this week, and exploring new ways to better your health. For whatever reason, this is coming in with these cards this week for some of you. And I feel like there is an influx of energy with the ace, again, because we're talking about these new beginnings, but there is one of being inspired to do some things, some self-care things too, that start this week but go on around health, exercise. Some of you I'm getting yoga, to do some more yoga, or to deepen your practice of it, or to use it more frequently as a tool for regeneration. So a lot of sort of varied messages for you this week. But really it's about getting this, getting yourself sort of, what do I want to say? Shored up with the energies that are going to sustain you as you explore these new beginnings, and as you start to pay attention to these budding inspirations. And as I said before, there's those of you that are really going to need to simplify, to sort of move away from the things that distract you or take your attention and sort of leave you scattered, instead of just getting cohesive and on the things that really matter to you, that you want to put your energy, that you want to invest into, to really get that return. Because some of you are going to be embarking on some new journeys about things you want to do that are going to happen over time. So you're going to need to figure out how you're going to be able to, on a regular and sustained level, invest in those things to get what you want from them. So for some of you, this is going to be kind of that long haul feeling of like there's going to be long range planning. If you're going to want to initiate something, who knows, it could be like a new class that you want to teach, or it could be learning a new skill to add another feather in the cap of the repertoire of things that you offer to your clients. You're going to know that you're going to need to plan for that. You're going to need to plan in all ways for it and get yourself mentally geared for that. Some of you in this phase of working with ACE this week, the Ace of Wands from the Rider-Waite Tarot, Ace of Bows, are going to know that this is just the beginning of something that's going to take time, you know, so we're just initiating now. And to play with that and to enjoy the idea of daydreaming or considering what that would be like for you, you know, to see yourself with that thing eventually and how that would feel. So there's achievements, but they're only just being thought about now. And it could be like just a different lifestyle even, you know, a different way of how you're living your life. For some of you, that will be true. You're going to be drawn to live a different kind of life. So let that really be something that you can kind of take some time this week to daydream as opposed to meditate. Just let things come into your head about this, and journaling with what that could, or maybe doing some collage around it. Some of you are very visual and really like that. So play a little bit with this, you know, have some time to play and consider how the Ace of Wands and Ace of Bow is going to work with you. And just open yourself to the possibilities. So with that, I feel like I've given everything I need to you and for you this week. And as always, you can find me on my Facebook page at Deb D'Onofrio, and you can find me at circlemagica.com. And again, if you haven't subscribed weekly to Magical Monday Musing, you can do that at circlemagica.com/subscribe. So until next week, I wish you all a wonderful and powerful and magical week. Blessed be.